I can't help it, I just seem to see the world different. It ain't Republicans or liberals, it's mental illness. The internet is only interested in left opinions. Cancel culture's got more power lately than the First Amendment. If you don't like it, leave. We will not defund police. We don't want no riots in our neighborhoods or in the streets. We respect freedom of speech. We protect what we believe. We don't want nobody dead, so please do not tread on me. In America, if freedom ain't free. In America, got soldiers dying overseas. So America, you say what we believe. My America, I won't ever take a knee. Our freedom is the reason you can disrespect our flag. If my stars and stripes offend you, then I'll help you pack your bags. America.
Good evening, America! How y'all doing, baby? It's your friendly neighborhood Bearded Weirdo coming at you loud and proud as I always do. And with this magnificence upon my
stick.
face.
Please.
And you hear him over here griping and complaining. He's now partially deaf. He is my best friend, my brother, my compadre, and he also happens to be my pastor. He is the one, the only, the Pastor Gary Podosek.
You call me pasta?
Pasta. Yeah. Yeah, pasta. He's the imposter.
My farfowl? My capellini? What am I?
And then behind the iron curtain, pushing our buttons oh so very well, is our friend, our very good friend and brother, Steve Cattell. How y'all guys doing today?
I'm doing fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
By the way, Steve, happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to you.
Yes, it was a fantastic Father's, and we do mean
I need-
fathers.
I need my little white thing. You can be a father.
No, wrong father.
Those guys don't get Happy Father's Day?
No, they don't. But anyway, to real fathers, not women who think they're fathers or
There he goes.
Trying to take all the credit.
Not happy. Well, it's not birthing persons. That's Mother's Day.
Probably misogynist as penis wielder.
No. What would it be? Oh, geez.
We don't get a name because they want to take us away from everything.
Sorry, yours doesn't work that way, Day.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh man, yes, and of course,
sorry.
Of course, you pet parents out there, this ain't Father's Day for you either because you're not a pet parent. I don't give a rat's behind what you think.
You did not give birth to that fur ball, okay?
No, you bought it. Okay, you're a pet owner. That's right. It's kind of like slavery. You own that pet. You bought them at a place.
You have dominion over them. It's not slavery.
Yes. Well, that's technically what.
No.
I kid. I just want to ruffle some people's feathers today.
Not the same thing.
So today we are having, something that we like to do every once in a while. Our brother Steve back there behind the computer. He's not the most well versed when it comes to political things.
Not at all.
And we started this thing because we wanted to answer questions he may have. And we figured other people who are not well versed in political things or things having to do with laws or different stuff would know these things. So we started doing these episodes called Politics for Dummies.
Like the book. But
like
better.
The book, but better because we're here.
Well, we actually answer the question.
Yeah, right.
We don't just tell you to buy the book that does not help you at all.
They don't.
Answer anything. You're the dummy because you bought the book.
The box.
So we.
No, this is Patrick.
We've had fun answering some of the questions in the past, so we're doing another one. Figure we do a lighthearted, fun episode explaining some things.
Before it gets real serious. Because it will.
Well, it's going to get real serious over the next few months. Come on, this is presidential election year, or in this case, it's choose your elder. Choose the elder you want to abuse for the next 4 years.
No, it's not. It's called choose the elder you want to abuse or the guy who's not going to make it.
I mean, I'm still trying to figure. I
elect that corpse.
Well, no. Here's the thing. Let me ask you a question. Let me.
Actually, he's probably better for office now. You think about it. Can't do much when you're dead.
Have you guys seen the picture of Joe Biden going forehead to forehead with the Pope?
Yes.
My question is, did he know it was the Pope or did he think it was vanilla ice cream?
Or He needed to get the last thing off of his sniff test.
What, old man?
Sniff the Pope?
Doesn't
Yeah,
he
that's like the one that wins it all.
wait,
like
wait,
if I
wait.
sniffed the Pope, I mean, I checked all the boxes.
No, wait. I got it now. He sniffed the Pope because he thought, well, he's Catholic. He's been around a lot of kids.
No. No, I know what it is. It's potpourri.
I mean, that. Oh man, we're gonna have fun, baby.
Stupid.
Fun.
Dad jokes.
Why? Because within what day of the week month is it? It's June 18th. In less than a month,
Juneteenth.
No, that was yesterday. June.
I don't know. It's a teenth in June is Juneteenth to me. Okay, if you want to be honest.
It's a made-up holiday for no
Well,
reason.
no. It's not a made-up holiday. It just should never have been a holiday.
Well, no, it was a Texas. It actually was a
Clear.
Texas holiday.
Yes,
because
it's not-
Texas was the final
It's a state holiday.
to
It's
hear
not
that
a. It's not
the
a
North
federal
won-
holiday.
It was a Texas holiday because Texas was the last one to
That's
hear
the reason why
that-
it's the reason why it should have never been a federal holiday
no.
because it only
But
was
you know,
applicable.
always
to a
have
few
to
states.
pander to the snowflakes, and that's why we have it.
Yeah, well, that's also why. Never mind.
It's also so you can sell more products.
No, it's so
No,
you
that's
can
why
get
they
another
invented
day
Valentine's
off.
Day.
Oh yeah, give them
But I didn't get a day off.
Well, the ones
Schools
who are going to
do.
be celebrating Juneteenth, they already have off all the time.
No.
Oh.
Well, yeah, welfare.
Well, no. Like, well, so, no, like I mean, like no. So like
You get paid to do
you
nothing.
you
anyway?
get Martin Luther King's birthday off. You know what I mean? We used to
James
get.
Earl Ray Day.
You better stop. That's messed up. That ain't even right. But no, like you get off for Martin Luther King Jr. birthday. You get off for what's now President's Day, but we used to get off for Abraham Lincoln's birthday and George Washington's birthday.
Separate.
But then they combined them to
Yep.
President's Day, which you probably didn't even know that.
No, I had no idea.
No,
Yeah,
we used to.
yeah, we used to get both of them off.
I remember that.
There was 3 days in February you had off, and
Yeah.
it was one was Abraham Lincoln's birthday, one was George Washington's birthday, and one was Martin
And
Luther
now
King's
you just made
birthday.
it
Now you just get
I thought
President's Day.
President's was just an extra day.
No.
Now, the day-
they got rid of one.
Now
and-
here's the thing. I impose this. If we're gonna make Juneteenth a holiday, I propose that then we make 2 more holidays.
What?
2 more holidays.
What holidays?
2 more holidays. I believe that tax day should be a holiday. Everybody should be off.
So we can all do our taxes.
Well, if
No,
you no,
because we're all getting screwed anyway.
No,
we might as well
it's-
enjoy it
like,
with a,
exactly.
We might as well enjoy
at
it
least
with an umbrella
at least
drink.
enjoy the day. At least enjoy the day where you're gonna have to pay the federal government a whole buttload of money with at least a day off.
Or if they're giving you
Right.
back money, they don't give you back enough.
Right, they give you enough. Or
You guys
and
do
then
your taxes?
no, the second shh,
Steve.
shh. George Papalopoulos does. He filed his taxes. No. So no, but no. And the other holiday, though, I absolutely believe should be a federal holiday, and I know you and me both agree with this 100%, and that is Election Day. Election Day should not be a day anybody in work should be not able
this
to
country
vote
should not- yeah, no,
because
it shouldn't work.
they are a working class citizen. If you have to work and you can't make it to the voting booth in time because your work hours do not permit you to go vote, even though it's stated that nobody can ever be prevented from working or from voting due to work. Jobs don't listen to that crap. Like they just don't.
Or you take the
and
day
like
off
you're
and you lose your
scheduled.
vacation
You
day.
scheduled, but like I need to take off. Oh, you can't. We need you in. Okay, well, can I come in late? No, you can't. They called out. Like blah blah blah. They guilt you in every possible way to make you so you can't do it.
You know what I do every
even
year?
though it's against the law.
The ones who can vote though, and who can get there without having
Are the ones that don't have jobs.
Yeah,
Or
the
the-
ones who
or-
have jobs,
or-
and
or-
also the ones who don't know what 3 countries are.
But here's
They
the
can't
reason.
name
Hold
3
on.
countries
But hold on. Here's
outside
hold
the
on. But
US.
here's the reason why I say this. It's not just for voting. It's being able to participate in the entire. In the entirety of the election process, right? The only people who can participate, i.e., watch, be a poll watcher and stuff, are people that don't have jobs.
They're
They're
usually retired and they don't give a crap.
unfortunately, and I don't mean this to be a dig, but unfortunately, a majority of those individuals lean left or are very liberal.
Yeah.
Because they are benefiting off of the system that lets them do that. So I just think it would be fair and more balanced to be able to have people who are maybe more conservative, right-leaning, that don't have to work that day, that can actually give their time to their community election day, event. Go to the school and, work as a helper or do something like that.
Poll washer.
Yeah, anything. Like we could be more involved if it
make
was
sure
a holiday.
So that we can make sure that secret
there's-
briefcases with ballots don't just
yeah,
show
but
up
it just
in the middle of the night at 4 in the morning.
I know you agree with that.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
always
I
been something-
wholeheartedly agree with
like
it.
it just
When I was
that should
growing
be a
up,
holiday.
it was.
And honestly, I prefer that there could be a holiday. I was like, oh, you want to get rid of a holiday?
Well,
Okay,
see,
well then,
here's
what
the
holiday
problem.
do you have to get
Wait,
rid of?
wait,
I'm
wait.
like, honestly, I can come up with 3.
Well, here's the stuff.
Juneteenth is one of them.
I can come up with a whole month.
Here's the big problem though with that. It's no longer election day anymore. It's election season. Because it takes them 3 months to count all the ballots.
Honestly, New Year's Eve. You can get rid of New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Take that holiday.
No,
throw it in the trash.
no,
New
no,
Year's
no,
Day.
no, no, no,
New Year's
no.
Day.
No.
Sorry, you're off on New Year's Day. You have to work New Year's Eve. You're off on New Year's Day.
I always work
I don't
New
care.
Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Unless it landed on a weekend.
So what's it matter about New Year's Day? Why does it matter?
No, bad, bad,
Why?
bad.
Why?
Ramen and board games. Shut your mouth.
Yeah, but I mean, you can
Shut
have
your
that any
hole.
other day. You don't
No,
need it on
shut
New
your hole.
Year's.
No. That's
Just saying.
Shut your hole.
It's a silly day. It's a silly day for New York.
Anyway.
Like New York needs more things. Take that away from New York. Then watch the city burn.
Well, we do every time we turn on.
No,
CNN.
that's what I'm saying. That literally is probably the only thing keeping New York technically alive. That and the Yankees.
No, that's not keeping them alive either.
No, it is, sadly.
So anyway, we got these questions. We got a few of them, and we're gonna see how many of them we can get through before the end of the episode.
Before they cut us off.
So we're gonna let Steve.
At least Rumble won't cut us off because Rumble's awesome.
Yeah, Rumble's awesome. Screw you, YouTube.
Stop YouTube.
So we'll get YouTube to stop this off because I'll do a different question first.
Oh, okay.
Oh
Cut
boy,
off.
he's throwing us a zinger.
Are you throwing one with the R word in it?
No.
Okay, because that's the way you get cut off of YouTube instantly.
Which R
Which
word?
R word? That's right. Doesn't matter. Pick one.
That's correct.
The 4-letter R word or the 6-letter R word? Because both will get you canned.
Oh, you mean the 6-letter R word that is actually a medical term inside medical books?
No. I understand. Listen, I know. I'm just saying. Go ahead.
So
Question number uno
So it is
for Espanol friends.
It is going to be off the cuff question.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh boy,
It's
here
not
we go.
on. So it wasn't on
Not
the list.
on the list.
Oh boy, here we go. Curveball.
So, because my whole thing with this whole politics for dummies is the fact that I don't vote, and I really don't see a point in voting
Right.
yet.
Gotcha.
So, off of this cuff question is one of the main reasons is because, like we've talked about on other episodes, was it's fixed.
Right. Okay.
They're gonna have Biden in there, and Biden's gonna win because they fixed it.
Right.
Why would I vote if they're going to fix it?
So, all right, that's a really good question. So the one thing that there's a couple bits of research that you can do, right? And we've done some of the research on this, but really when you say fix, it means there's 2 types of fixing. Fixing one very much would emulate fascism, complete fascism,
Right, yeah.
Dictatorship,
Yes.
Tyranny, that kind of stuff. For them to do that, they would literally have to objectively deny voters every possible way to do anything to change the system of government, right? Which would have been, and I say this with just not saying anything bad about it, but not saying that things weren't all up in the up either. But had January 6th ended with them doing some harm, let's say, to Senate-seated members of Congress, things
Right.
like that, legitimately overthrowing the Capitol, and removing.
Yeah, not just on a tour, but
Right,
actually
you know what I
showing
mean?
up with
Like
guns.
actually doing some harm and then absolutely overthrowing the government and appointing who they believe was rightfully elected or doesn't matter at that point. That is a coup. That's tyranny. Okay. So to me, that would be the way they would have to do it for it to be like the fix that would be
Right.
absolute fix. Now, so when we say fix, then defining it more from what you're asking, what you are saying is cheating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ballot
Correct.
harvesting.
Yeah.
So there is no doubt that as it stands, the Democrat side of the party has, and effectively always has, been cheating in some form or fashion. Okay, now
You mean their ballot turnout game?
so whatever you want to call it,
ballot harvesting.
but there's something. So I was literally just watching this the other day. I will give 100% credit to Steven Crowder for this, but he had a gentleman on Epstein, not Epstein. This gentleman Epstein, who has a project that basically is investigating how Google, Alphabet, Google, YouTube. He brought him back.
Oh,
he did another episode with him.
I know the guy. So
they have a bit more research and done more research, but basically have learned through this process about how Google has literally a lot of power in absolutely affecting the way the election turnout goes. You're talking about
you do a search and they control what you see.
So and here's the thing: the best thing about it is there's rules when it comes to publicity, where somebody would say, negative publicity is still good publicity because you're being talked about, right? Well, there's in politics, it's a completely different gamut. It's a completely different animal. The gamut changes. So you end up with negative publicity or negative stories. People could be an objective lie, but that story is the only story you hear.
Yep.
You get nothing positive, right? Which right now, if you actually want to be honest, right now on the media sites, on social media, there's not going to be a single Trump political ad aired at all. There won't be. No. Nobody will see any of Trump's message. Won't see any of Trump's things. You'll only see Biden messaging.
You want to know the truth on why you won't see it? He's making a lot of money with people donating to him, but you know what he's not doing? That the Democrats are doing? Democrats are buying all the slots for advertising.
Right. He's paying for legal
Trump
fees.
hasn't paid for any. You know what the problem is when it comes to commercials and ads and stuff like that? There are only so many spots, and if you don't buy them, they ain't there.
No, I bet you anyway, they probably deny him the purchasability anyway. But that being said,
they actually can't when it comes to.
I think they probably can now because they've done it. So, but the point is that when you are controlling media, okay, and you control the internet media, what this gentleman did on his research, he basically showcased how Google's, just when you start typing, remember how it completes the sentences?
Up, yeah.
Just that alone, if you go and type in stuff to find out anything about Trump, it doesn't ever pop up. Yep. It won't show up. So that is omitting.
It's called a soft ghost.
It's literally removing any ability for a person to gather information to make educated decisions. You go through that. You go through the censorship role of YouTube and how they eliminate things. Facebook and all the stuff with the Hunter Biden laptop story and how that got completely squashed. And we know statistically that based off of data that was procured, that had that story came out before the election, as it should have, it would have indeed changed
30% of vote.
It would have changed. It would have changed the swing state
independent.
votes.
30% of
and it
independents
100% would have changed the election. So those things
which would have given him the election.
Right. So those things are indeed what is happening.
Right.
They are doing it. It is effective. Now, this is the thing that I'm going to give credit to Steven for, because he said it so eloquently. And basically, this is the point. They, with the cheating, just won.
Barely won. Yep.
Barely.
Yeah.
With all the cheating.
Yeah.
All the mail-in ballots. All the mail-in ballots that we know 100% weren't legitimate. Because research just by that alone shows that you go to an address on the written ballot and it takes you to the middle of an intersection of a circle. That's not an address.
Or people getting ballots sent to their house. People that have either never lived there or lived there like 50 years ago.
Right. Obviously, Chicago's litmus test of the dead voting has been going on for many years. So
most places don't clean out voter rolls.
Right. And so when you don't have that, and if people don't, and so just so you're also aware, somebody passes away, right? And that person's still on the voter roll. If they don't ever acknowledge they're deceased, when you don't show up to vote, but you're registered Democrat or Republican, you're immediately presumed to have voted that way. So they just ticket ride you, and that's it. You're considered a.
Which shouldn't be legal either.
It's which isn't a casted ballot vote, so it's not like you actually casted your ballot for that. Is everything okay?
I don't know. We're getting talk about that we're not live, so I'm going to check this out and see what's going on.
Oh no!
No, they dropped us.
They cut us off of YouTube. That means we're probably still on Rumble.
No, we're not on Rumble at all right now.
Oh.
We got to finish recording.
That's okay. We'll finish recording. YouTube cut us off. How about that? That's what we get for talking bad about YouTube. You suck, YouTube.
You suck, YouTube.
We don't care about you anyway. So all good. That's
Hold
fine.
on a second. Let me. I can tell right now if we got booted. Let me see.
So while you do that, I'll continue to answer the question.
Okay.
So with that knowledge that again you are literally able to like see that we're so close with the immense amount of cheating that they're doing. That just shows you that if things even just a small amount change, it flips the other way. And so now you're starting to see numbers of that changing. You're starting to see, a lot of black vote shifting.
No, it must be a Wi-Fi thing because we didn't get a thing saying we're dropped.
Huh.
Can you just do the upload afterward then?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll just upload to YouTube later.
Oh, okay.
So, oh well, no biggie deal.
Says 27 minutes we've been live.
Yeah, something dropped out.
Oh well.
Oh well.
We'll see if it comes back.
Yeah, well,
if I have to, I can bring it back.
Yeah,
up.
we can always we can just upload
But
it
yeah,
later.
according to this, we did not.
I was gonna say I doubt we would have done something or said something at this point. We didn't do
Not
anything.
yet.
But anyway, so generally because it's so close now, the biggest thing that can the best thing that can effectuate the change immediately is new voters, right? Undeclared voters or the undecided voter, right? Which is always what is that anomaly in the vote anyway. Which is why when you see it, like if you follow it like me and him do, you'll always see there's a percentage of error.
Yes.
That they say is in their polls or in their votes, right? There's a margin of error. You've heard that before?
Yeah.
Okay. That margin of error is the undecided voter.
And
Mostly.
And polls suck.
Well, I'm not talking about polls, but even
Yeah.
when they finally start tallying the votes and they don't have them all counted, there's still a percentage that they say is within the margin of error. That is the ability that undecided voters maybe
Could have swung either way.
could have went one way or the other.
Or they didn't get a chance to vote. They know
Right.
that they know there's so many people.
Because you know how many people, you also know how many people are in each district, each state. So you know that by just census data alone. So you know how many people are registered to vote, how many people aren't registered to vote, how many people are in the state. Mm-hmm. So you can tell what the numbers should be when it's all tallied. But this is where we say that even though, there's cheating afoot, and always kind of has been, whether it's effectuated major victories or not, don't know until it's fully exposed.
The biggest thing when it comes to, and this is, look, I've got my own issues with this upcoming presidential election. I've got my own issues with both people running.
I'm more concerned about our state.
That is the big one. That is the big one.
Seriously.
Right now, believe it or not, we're setting up for next year for gubernatorial. I'm still doing digging on that, which is why we haven't really talked about it on here yet, because
we need
certain
better candidates.
individuals have blocked me.
Well, not just
Chattarelli, because you're afraid to talk to me, you coward.
But it's not just that. It's just we need better candidates. Like Chattarelli's a loser candidate. Why do you want to put another loser candidate in office? It doesn't make sense.
The only one that I have an inkling of I could maybe get behind is I can't ever remember his name
That's
right
good.
now. The only one I could get behind is the one that's the radio host.
Oh, okay.
He's New Jersey political radio host. He was a lawyer before he was that, and he's officially, as of yesterday, I think I got to double
What
check.
happened to your buddy Singh?
He's not running. Not running, and I can't find anything. I've tried to reach out to him multiple times.
And here's the thing about that. So sometimes what you'll see a lot of times happen with candidates is they they put a lot of investment of their hard-earned money into order to get into the electoral race. You actually have to raise money.
Oh yeah, you got to raise money.
You have to raise a lot of money.
You got to get enough people's signatures.
So that's a lot of stuff that you have to do, and even just to be able to actually run as a candidate. But a lot of the times, what candidates will do is they will also put a lot of their own money in as that donated money. So they'll make their own donations to their own campaign funds because you can. There's no rules that says you can't donate to your campaign funds.
So much money.
So people do that, and so generally you'll see a lot of times a campaign bombs out. Well, they've invested like hundreds of thousands of dollars into it, and it's just not recoupable. You don't get it back. It's gone.
That and the fact that Hirsch Singh has been doing the podcast and the internet, like he's been on what is it? OAF, I think is one. Is it OAF?
I don't know.
He's been going on different news networks, conservative news networks, doing that. What are you trying to see if it'll pop back?
Yeah, just seeing if it'll just randomly
refresh
pop
up.
Yeah, refresh.
So,
up.
but to answer the question fully, there's cheating.
Yeah,
it's always been. But the reality is that
your state and local municipals are more important than the presidential candidate.
Correct.
Right.
And now on top of that, right, you have that, but you do have an important vote to cast for the president as well. And when you make that vote, I say this with the matter of factness of what it really means. It's not just you have a buy-in and you have a say in it, but at the same time, you really do get to see like the differences so minute now, but when you see a major shift or a major change, that doesn't happen because people just decided I'm not going to vote. It happened because people got off their butts and said, you know what, I'm tired of this, I'm voting.
Yeah,
and eventually that happens with enough people. You see a big change. You see a state flip. You see a Ronald Reagan. You see a Nixon. You see these like landslide elections.
You see Iowa
because
flip. You see
because people
Florida
get tired.
Florida.
Pennsylvania flipped too, didn't it?
No.
Florida,
but they're purple now.
Yeah,
Florida.
Because
they're considered.
They're blue. They're technically blue. Well, no, they're technically red. Philadelphia is blue and Pittsburgh.
Philadelphia, Harrisburg, and Pittsburgh.
But what's funny is that you're starting to see even some of those areas in the cities start to turn purple now because I hate saying it. I made fun of the man. I apologize.
Fetterman.
I do. I apologize to
I
Fetterman.
don't apologize. I'm going to continue to make fun of him. But he's more conservative.
As he becomes more lucid and gets his head back on, he's more conservative than people thought. And
here's the thing. I don't think he originally was the way he is now.
You think the head injury didn't make
No,
him
they
turn
tell
the
you
other way?
flat out that when you have a stroke, that part of your personality changes. The way you think changes.
Yeah.
He's coming back from a major stroke. Now, he sounds smart. He's got a brain.
Yeah.
I mean, he still needs to lose the hoodie.
I agree.
But still, whatever. I can whatever.
So, but good question.
Good question.
Yeah, so I will skip then because we're going to run out of time very quickly, as I figured. I will go to question number 4 because this would kind of go along with what we're talking about.
Okay.
What would make Trump ineligible, completely ineligible?
Right now, the only way that they can make him ineligible is if they could try him and convict him as a traitor.
Treason.
For treason. That is the only way.
Which is the January 6th
Which
trial.
is the January 6th
trying
trial.
to do, but that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen before election.
Well, no, it's not going to happen before election.
The election. It's not going to happen before election.
It's not going to happen.
It can't happen. Right now.
Right now, it would be. Let's just say
it would be starting in November. Best case scenario.
And let's just say that Trump doesn't win, okay? And somebody else, because I highly doubt Biden's going to actually run. So
no, I think they're going to put somebody else in there because.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll get to that. We'll get to that later. But if Trump doesn't actually win and does have to see that trial through to completion, I have a sneaking suspicion that it'll get tossed out eventually because there's a lot of these trials they're gonna get overturned on appeals. But if
Look,
they manage to pull that one off, that would be the one that would
The
be
only
able to get
the only thing that is seriously going to be hurting Trump right now is that July 11th he gets his they tell him what his punishment is for the 40-some
38.
Right.
38 garbage
Yeah.
convictions that he had in
That
New
was
York.
the Alvin Bragg trial.
That was garbage, absolutely garbage. Okay, but anyway, the most they can do to Trump, because they can't put him in jail. Here's the thing: they cannot put him in actual prison. Why? Because it states in our Constitution that all former presidents have Secret Service.
They're under Secret Service protection.
They're under Secret Service protection. You can't take Secret Service into a prison. So he cannot go to prison. So he will go to house arrest. That is what he's going to do. Okay, so they're most likely going to put him in house arrest in Florida. What does that mean? That means during the entire time during the latter part of the election, he cannot go out and do his rallies. He cannot go out.
They actually can't do that
now
either.
We're not even going to have like
They can't do that though. So they've already talked
they
about.
can do it.
No, they can't. The
Yes,
House
they
arrest.
can.
They can't. They cannot.
So,
Yes,
they
they
so then
can.
what's that going to mean for like
They cannot.
the debates?
Yes, they can.
Because if
They-
you can't be there, for
That's
the debate,
exactly. Well, so first of
Well,
all,
no.
the debate's going to happen sooner than later.
The first debate is in a week. This from Thursday.
Is he going to be there?
Okay, they're setting up the rules for it. I don't think they're actually going to have it. Like they're setting it the way they're setting up the rules and everything. They're setting it up easy for Joe to be like, no, I'm not going to because he's a criminal. He is going. The only thing that is the issue when it comes to that, because he is going to be put on house arrest. It is going to happen. Now he's going to appeal and everything else, but he's still going to be convicted. He's still going to be given the punishment of house arrest. New York can decide whether he can do house arrest in Florida or he can do house arrest in New York. They can demand that, oh, you're under house arrest at Trump Tower, and you don't leave. And now they control it. Because down in Florida, technically speaking, if DeSantis wanted to, he could be like, my house, my rules, and we're going to allow him to do things in Florida that not necessarily allow him to do anywhere else. He is most certainly going to be, now he's going to appeal. What idiot wouldn't appeal this garbage?
Right. That's
Okay.
erroneous.
So he's going to appeal. Now, when he's appealing, it is up to the appellate court whether or not he stays doing his punishment while they do the,
Or he can
they
be
put it aside.
R&R or whatever.
Basically you don't have to be under house arrest until we do this thing, until we do the appeal. This is why, which goes into the second part of this question, because I know what the second part is. But they can't get. Let's put it this way: they can only make him ineligible if they find him of treason. They're not going to be able to do that until at least after the election this year, anyway. And that's because they're waiting on the Supreme Court to make a determination on whether or not his presidential immunity covers the January 6th trial. I don't think it's going to. They're going to throw it out. They're going to be like, no. But by the time that happens, they have because they've been sending this to the Supreme Court. They have not been allowed to do any preparation for the thing. So now they have to start the process over. And it might be September. It might be October when they can finally pick a date. And then the court date can't happen probably again, best case scenario. We are talking about the federal government and the judicial system. Best case scenario, they put him on trial sometime in November, maybe in October, but it's not going to be a quick case. It's going to be a long debacle.
So that's what that would be what the Democrats are hoping for is that even if Trump wins, he'll still be able to get convicted.
He can pardon himself after that point.
Yeah.
He can once he wins the office, he can pardon himself.
So and to be true, you can run from prison.
You can run from prison.
So
yes.
an inmate
We've
in
had-
prison
we've
can
had-
actually run.
In the past, there have been inmates in prison who have run for president.
Yep.
They haven't gotten anywhere, but you can run.
very, very difficult to run a campaign when you're behind
The only
bars.
time you cannot run for president is if you're found treasonous. That is the only way.
So
or if you are a foreigner.
yeah.
So you are not
US
born
citizen.
native to the U.S.
You know,
i.e.,
like
Arnold Schwarzenegger cannot run for president.
no matter how much he wants to.
He could be governor, but he cannot be president because he was not born in this
He
country.
was born in Austria.
Right,
You have to
which
be-
is why
you
when
have to be-
Obama got elected, there was this big hubbub about his birth certificate. The same thing with McCain, right? John
Right.
McCain, when he was running, they did the same thing to him. Now, the difference between, I don't know the whole in and out of Obama's as much, but I do know the story on McCain's. McCain was born on a U.S. base,
which is considered
considered
soil.
U.S. soil. So it's different. Whereas, I don't know if Obama was born on a U.S.
in the
base.
Dominican Republic.
But,
whatever.
but again,
So the part two is the other is another good question is if for some reason Trump can get through all this and he can
weather the
somehow
storm.
weather
Well, he's going to weather the storm.
Yeah, he'll weather the storm.
He's going to fight to the very end. And they've got him hogtied with this because now instead of spending money on campaign stuff, which is what he should be doing, he's spending money on fighting in court.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Knowing that, who do you think his VP is going to be? Because
His VP needs to be somebody who can go out and campaign for him.
that's what I'm saying. So who do you think?
I know who I would say who would be the best one to do it.
All right,
I also know who Fox News is pushing to be that they think would be the best person.
All right, who's Fox News person?
say?
But Fox News is what's his face? He's a senator for Florida, Rubio.
Marco Rubio.
Yeah, they're Fox News is put.
God, no.
A lot of the mainstream, quote unquote, conservative media.
I mean, he might be on Trump's list.
is saying
but-
Rubio. Well, here's
might
the
be on
thing.
Trump's list, 'cause he's
Have you
kind
ever
of
noticed-
become a
Have
Trump
you ever
fanboy.
noticed the people that Trump puts around him? When it comes to men, they're cucks. They're quiet. They do whatever he tells them to do, and that's that. The women are allowed to have cojones, okay? And they're always good looking.
So you think?
So he wouldn't. No,
No.
he won't pick a woman.
No,
He won't pick a woman.
Doubtful.
Because the women that they would pick are useless. Christy Nome, useless.
Not Nome.
Now I would say his girl over there in Arkansas would be a great choice, but
Which one?
Huckabee.
Huckabee? No, she doesn't want anything.
I know she doesn't want anything to do with it.
No, I'm
but she
talking
would
about
be
the.
good
I
for
thought
him.
you were talking about the other chick.
Which one?
I can't remember her name, but she's definitely on his side. She's the one that's in. She's House.
No, she's worthless.
What? No.
What, MTG?
No, God no. Ew, no. God no. She's crazy. She's crazy.
Republicans don't like her.
She's crazy. I mean, I like her. I like her, but not for that reason. I like her because
trying to think who you're
I like
trying
her
to think
because she just likes to start trouble. I like her. She's
likes
a
to
trouble
fan the
starter. Yeah.
flame.
No, I can't remember her name, but if I remember her name, it'll come to me. But no, she is. I would say she is the female version of JD Vance. And JD Vance
that's
is probably the one that I think Trump will end up picking. To be honest, I do think that Trump will probably end up
JD
with
Vance
JD
is
Vance.
too masculine for him to pick.
But if you really want to ask me, if you want to ask who I think he should pick or who he will pick,
Who he will pick was my question.
I think it's going to be JD Vance.
I don't think it will. JD Vance is too.
So who do you think is going to be? Tim Scott?
No.
Good, because if you did that, I would
No.
rip that beard off.
I honestly don't know who he's going to pick because look, it's
That's the photo negative of his last VP.
no.
Who should he pick then?
Who I believe he should pick? Oh, both of these people should swallow some crow and shake hands and work together, and it should be DeSantis.
No. Absolutely not.
Really?
Nope. If I said should, who he
Yes.
should pick,
Yes.
100%. 100%. And it's the smartest play. It would absolutely be, if not the smartest thing he could do, as far as everything that he's worked for, to ensure it, Trump Jr.
No, can't do it.
Why not?
Really?
Can't do it.
Why?
There's actually a thing about family members running on the
Absolutely
same
not true.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. There's a legal standing on it. They will not allow because people have been believe me. I've been listening to this one all week. Not with Trump Jr. It's his one daughter they're saying to bring in. You can't do it. There's also a thing about you can't have two people from the same state, which is why he actually can't pick DeSantis because they live in Florida. You can't pick two people from the same state to run on the same presidential ticket.
Yeah, but he could definitely pick his
Trump
son.
Jr. is in Florida. No, he can't.
I don't know about that. I would want to find that out because I don't think that is true. But
Can't. It's not a written law, but it is a legal
Well, then
faux pas. They would fight it, and they could actually get him to. It would drum up the courts even more. It's a dumb play.
But
Trump Jr. should not be on there because Trump Jr. is nothing. There are things that Trump Jr. has done and said that I agree with, but there's a lot that he has done and said that I do not agree with.
That's not what that was not the reason why, though. Listen to what the starting point of the question was. Again, why? Because you need somebody who can campaign for you.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to pick somebody who's going to campaign for you and not mince words, speak like you speak, say the things you would say, stand on the principles you know you need to stand on, who else is better for that than his son?
Because I don't think
DeSantis is I'm sorry, him running for president shriveled him up.
No, it didn't.
It did. It did. Absolutely
didn't.
It did.
It did
It
not.
did. He shrunk. He shrunk from Governor DeSantis when he started running for president.
He did not shrink.
He did.
The man is still doing the leaps and bounds.
Now that he's back to being a governor, yeah.
Well, even
he can handle the governor. He can't. He couldn't handle.
I absolutely disagree. He is the person that we need in the office. We're getting two people that we deserve running for office.
Well, no, there's a difference.
And it's not a good thing that we deserve Biden and Trump running for office.
I'm not saying that that's wrong. And I know you have a specific lean here, and I'm not getting away from that either. But my point is that I don't look at DeSantis and go, younger is better. Yeah, younger is better. But I also look at there's a lot of other things that could be improved in that whole aspect too. And honestly, if DeSantis as governor, the way he runs the state, would have been the guy up there on stage and been the guy that he was running for president, he wouldn't have lost.
I'm not saying he didn't.
He wouldn't have lost. He wouldn't have got blown out of the water.
False.
Yeah, that is a fact.
False.
It is a fact.
Because the MAGA cult had already said Trump was winning. How dare DeSantis not wait his turn?
That's not what it was.
Yes, it was.
I disagree. I disagree.
I watched all the stuff. I watched the entire MAGA cult and everything that they stood for. They all agreed that they wanted DeSantis to run, but they wanted him to wait his turn behind Papa Trump because Papa Trump gets to do it because Papa Trump is king, and that's the way it is. That is the whole thing with the majority.
But you give so much credit to again another small.
It's not a small thing.
It is.
It's a large part of the Republican Party is that way. They bow and kowtail
if
to
that's
Trump.
the case, then why is it that the House why is it then the House is so divided when it comes to the Republicans? If that was the case, it's not true. It's absolutely a small group. They don't even have that much support. He does not have that much support in the House.
Has way more support than most other people do. Yes, I will admit the Republican Party is in shambles because you got people that have one or two things
by
that
the
they
way,
agree with.
Stefanik. Elise Stefanik. That's the female version of JD Vance. FYI. I knew she would come to mind.
No, we have one or two people. We have a group of people. The Republican Party is nothing more than a group of people who agree on maybe one or two things. Outside of those one or two things, we don't agree on anything else. Okay, the Democrat Party agrees on full liberal retard, and they agree on everything that they do, which is why because they don't just have a political party, they have a religion, and they all follow it blindly. Okay, the Republican Party has two things that they agree on, and everything else they fight on, and it's a majority of the Republican Party wants to fight on how liberal we can be without being like them. That's the majority of the Republican Party. Half of them are cowards. They want to be liberal, but not as liberal as the libtards. How far left can we go before we're like them? That's all they care about. They want to spend all our money just like them. It's nothing but a giant uniparty, in my opinion, except for a small portion of the real Republicans that are in the caucus, the Freedom Caucus.
Wait, hold on. But even in that, right? So you literally just supported my entire point.
But because you can't get everybody to agree on one thing.
That's not what I'm saying.
You get the majority. You get the most people agreeing on Trump.
No, he won't even.
No, I'm not going to concede on it.
No.
Why? Why not?
Because he doesn't want to.
Florida,
and also he does in Florida, but he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to.
They've asked him.
So they've asked him before if he wanted to get involved in politics. He's like, I love my job and I love what I do, and I would never stop doing it until the day I die.
No. Yeah, they asked him.
He would be somebody that I would be like, I'll actually sign a ballot.
Look, I would vote for him, and I agree with you.
But all right, I'm going to talk about
Sheriff Grady.
Yeah, so I'm going to point this out. right? Because I'm not trying to change your mind, and I'm not trying to get you to shift your gear. I'm saying what I was saying about your supporting my point is that you just basically stated my point, which is in this whole entire group of Republicans, because I agree with you, it is more like a uniparty. I'm not disagreeing with you. And there's a small sect of Republicans, both voter and involved in politics, the House and the Senate, that are sound Republicans, like
Yes,
Republicans as they should be.
They're the ones
right?
that are actually part of the House Freedom Caucus, the Freedom Caucuses.
Yes. Now, out of that, there's only a small amount of those percentage-wise that are that MAGA group.
The MAGA cult isn't the politicians. The MAGA
I'm
cult
saying
is within
even
the voters.
I'm telling you, even in the voters, there are people who literally will wake up on election day, go to the poll, punch all the red buttons, and walk away. They won't even look at who they voted for. They don't care.
No, yeah.
Uniparty voted, right?
True.
That is the red. That is,
and
it
I
is
can't
no
stand
different than
that.
the blue.
Look,
But so that's my point.
As much as I can't stand Democrats, I will at
That's
least
my
do the
point.
research on both sides
But
to
that's
see.
my point.
'Cause like in the state of New Jersey, you can be shocked.
You not being a MAGA guy are part of that actual Republican group, right? That's what I'm saying. So you are in the smaller percentage because you're not that guy, but you're not a MAGA guy.
Oh no, I'm not part of the MAGA cult.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So there isn't it isn't as large as we are making it seem like it's bigger than it really is. It's not as big as it really is, and that's what I think is the bigger problem here is that if you think of it as it's bigger than it really is, it's not. What it really is it's reality of here's the person that you have to vote for. Do you want the dead guy or do you want this guy?
The almost dead guy.
It's fine. I'd rather have I'd rather have a Muppet than the actual Muppet.
No, I would rather.
I'd
not
rather have
anybody,
Kermit the Frog.
I'll put it
Literally,
to you this way: if
Mickey
you can,
Mouse.
if you
Give me
can
something.
lose
No, I
your
don't want
license
Mickey
at-
Mouse. But
if you can lose your license at 75 years old because you're too old to drive, you shouldn't be allowed to run for
right,
president.
and that's a different argument. That's what I think is more. That's more of your sound argument that I absolutely agree with you. Younger needs to be more involved, more young.
Well,
like we
baby
need
boomers
better
need to be
candidates.
gone. It's Gen X's time to put somebody in
better
office.
candidates, and that goes back to state elections, right? It goes back to you voting for these guys before they get there, because if you're not running these guys and you're not getting them through their state and their local assemblies, and you're not getting them up to the
because
House,
nobody
or the,
runs.
they're not
Nobody
going
runs
to run
directly for president,
And-
except for Trump. But he was also he was a household name already.
But he was also well known, and on top of it, right? How bad did it have to get to Trump?
Yeah.
It didn't get.
bad.
It was bad, and it didn't get better. And I would say
didn't get
Trump.
the right way.
Trump elected did more for this country than any other
Except
political
it-
candidate in the last
The only problem, my
20 some odd years.
Well, actually, I have a lot to say about his final year in office, but we won't even touch
I'm
that.
not talking about
Before
that.
we even get into the final year, the only big issue I've had with Trump, and it's more of a slap in the face to the Republicans, because when he first came into office, we controlled the House and the Senate.
right.
And the Republicans fought Trump.
Yep.
So much that he had to do everything through executive order. What's the problem with doing everything in executive order? Yes,
The
it helped
second
at
the
the
next
time.
guy gets in, you
He
undo
can
everything.
Get rid of it all, which is why Biden was able to get rid of everything. But if the Republicans would have actually got their head out of
Again,
their rear ends,
Point of your actual
Yes.
vote outside of the political office
Yes.
of president is
which
so
is
much
why,
more important.
Which is why I will always listen. I am struggling when it comes to voting for who I may or may not vote for when it comes to this presidential election. But I will tell you what, regardless of everything else on that ticket, I will be voting for anything that is local. Okay, I will never not vote for anything that is local, because that is really where all the power is. Because the federal government only has the power to protect. Should only have the power to protect and
Very
pay
clear statement.
and pay for those things that protect the borders of this country. Everything else is under the power of the governor, and then actually, most people don't realize this. Your local municipality has more power than the governor,
Right.
because if your county sheriff gives the governor a big old, go screw yourself,
Yep.
governor can't do nothing.
Yeah.
Your absolute local, like the municipality, your board of education, local board of education, your local sheriff, all that stuff is more important than even the governor. And that's where we should be voting.
So they are basically, it's going to sound dumb, but it sounds so true. They're like the HOA. They can take over and tell you this is the way it is.
Like when
regardless on
let's put it this way, like when they were doing all the lockdowns here in New Jersey.
Yeah.
If one sheriff, mind you, a sheriff is an elected official. He is not somebody who is just given a job. Oh, we hire you as sheriff.
He's not a Fauci.
He is not Fauci. He is not a regular police officer in your area. Your county sheriff, the head sheriff in your county, is an elected official.
You elect him.
Therefore, he has to do what the electors, us, put him in there to do.
Right.
If the local sheriffs had told Murphy when Murphy was doing lockdowns, if they'd have told him to go pound sand and go screw himself, there's nothing he could do.
Well, that kind of happened with the Atlas Gym thing.
Kinda.
Because Murphy was demanding the Atlas Gym lock their doors and
the
not
sheriff
be
said
open.
no.
And the
I
cops showed
remember
up
that.
with the sheriff, and the sheriff basically, the cops were coming in there to lock it down. The sheriff said, absolutely not.
Yep.
Absolutely not.
Now, granted, they still put a bunch of lawsuits on him, which the state can do. They put a bunch of state and federal lawsuits on him, which thankfully they beat.
They beat the snot out of, yeah.
Like, they were thrown out of court with prejudice.
Yep.
Not even just judge goes, yeah, we're throwing this out. No, the judge threw it out with prejudice, meaning that the state cannot even try again to bring any of this up again. Like, it was forcefully thrown out. And so, but so many counties in this state buckled. So many.
Yeah.
Because the sheriff's buckled. Because
and there's reason. And there's reason because money talks.
Yep.
And unfortunately, when it comes down to funding, everything comes through a system, right?
Yep.
Federally, monies are given to the states for things. So states are
And then states
are
it out.
pushed to comply by federal funding. So like when Trump said, and if you remember this during that pandemic time, or you can call it what you want.
Scamdemic.
Pandemic, whatever. You can call it whatever you want. But when it happened, and he said the 30 days the slow to spread thing, and then basically said after this we're opening back up. All states are going to open back up. They said, no, you can't do that. And he said, yes, I can. I'm the president. And they basically said, no, amendment, blah, 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 states' rights. This was a big argument.
Yep.
So he had to come back, and he says, okay, fine. I'll take that back.
And we'll take your funding.
You can choose. You can choose to not open your state, but if you don't, I'll pull your funding. He can do that.
That he can do.
He can do that.
To a point.
To a point.
Senate actually can do it.
Stuff that's already been allocated and stuff like that, but he can basically go, we're just going to sign things out that basically X you out of being funded for future things.
The House of Representatives controls the purse strings.
Yep.
At the time,
we had the House.
We had the House, and he could have shut it down.
Could have. So this is the point. The thing is that then federally funded money goes to the state. Now the state has federal funds, right? Your taxpayer dollars. Now your state also has its own state taxpayer dollars.
Yep.
Your other taxpayer dollars.
Which they divvy out to the
municipalities, and the municipalities are supposed to take care of each municipality. They're supposed to. So that's all your money. So basically, at any point, the governor could turn around and go, if you don't comply, we're going to scrap the books on you, and you're going to have to figure out another way.
Which is what Biden did to the country when he was trying to put out that mandate that eventually the Supreme Court threw out about when it came to the jab. Okay,
right.
So
this is the manipulative tactic of politics.
And like I said, personally, like a J.D. Vance, I wouldn't mind seeing running with Trump. I wouldn't mind seeing what's his face from Texas. I really do like.
I like Kennedy too, but he's just a little too old.
Yes.
And who's the other? Who's the bald guy?
The bald guy with the beard.
Goatee. Yeah,
that's
like
the
him
dude
too.
from Texas, and I can't remember his name.
Can't remember his name either, but I like him too. But he's a little loud.
That's why I like him.
I know that's why you like him, but I'm just saying. He's all right,
believe it or not, another one that would work for him and would even help even more with the black vote is God, I can't remember his name.
Please don't say Tim Scott.
No, I cannot say.
Oh, I know the other guy, the brain surgeon.
The brain surgeon. I can never remember his name. Why can't I remember his name? Because he's too quiet.
Is he the governor of Texas?
No. Oh, no.
That's Greg Abbott.
He's
a wheelchair guy.
No, Greg Abbott is the guy.
Greg Abbott's a wheelchair guy.
I was like, hey, Abbott.
Hey, Abbott.
No, it's the.
If he did take Greg Abbott as his running mate, I'm sorry. Every time he comes on stage,
he's a senator or House representative. I can't remember who he is, but he's really, really good.
So
paralyzed from a tree falling on him.
Since you brought up amendments, I will probably get in this last question because that's all we're gonna have
Sure.
time for. I want to talk about amendments. So, who can make the amendments, and then who can change them? Because obviously they have been amended from.
Okay,
a
so
certain
there's a
thing.
difference between a law and an amendment.
Right.
A law, yes, it is out there. It is a law. The police, the military, whatever, is allowed to enforce it. Okay, an amendment is something that is coded in the Constitution. In order to code an amendment in the Constitution, it first must go through the House, then the Senate, and then once it's done that, then it has to be ratified or accepted by 2/3 of the states in order to be amended.
Yep.
It is not easy to do an amendment. They don't do them every day for a reason.
Right.
Because you have to get 2/3 of the states to go, yeah, we agree with this, and we're going to sign it in.
And I believe the Supreme Court has something to do with it too.
I
think they're the ones that finalize it. I think
they
if I'm
don't
not
finalize
mistaken.
it, but it's along the lines of they're the ones.
They're the ones
during-
that make
during the
sure that
process-
it's constitutionally correct.
During the process, they're wrestling with the constitutionality of it. Like when they did the prohibition, mind you, at one point 2/3 of the states in this country said that prohibition would be a good thing. Then a few years later, 2/3 of them said, yeah, no, not such a good idea. We're going to get rid of it. Okay? But that's how, like, I don't even remember when the last amendment was done. But that is still, even when you go down to states, to state constitution, the process is just as hard. Because not just, well, actually, I think in the state of New Jersey, they made it easier, which is why they were able to codify abortion into our constitution in the state of New Jersey, because in 1940 whatever, when they rewrote our New Jersey state constitution, they made it easier to ratify it, which is a total bunch of bullcrap, because they gave more power to Trenton than they did to the people living in the state when it came. But watch our first season of episodes, and you'll know we were talking about that.
Yeah.
Or actually, listen to them, because you can't watch them; they're
Yeah,
not
it was
on video.
Yeah, I was going to say it was on Spotify only.
But in order to ratify our federal constitution, it is a process. And it is a long process. It is not something that a president can just come out today and go, we're putting this in the Constitution. It is a long process. And it has to be worded right. It gets sent back a lot of times.
And to be clear,
Which is why we shouldn't have to worry about people trying to take off the Second Amendment.
Right, and right.
trying to-
So, like, and here's the thing. So, when they're talking about the amendment to the Second Amendment, what they are trying to do, okay, the Second Amendment is probably the most sought after
Yes.
of the libtards.
of the amendments to be amended.
Yes.
Okay,
Or eradicated.
When amended, no, they're not. They will never be able to eradicate it. But
I think they'll try.
I don't think they can. But amendments to it really are basically either adding frameworks or changing frameworks so that it fits more with like current things.
And the problem is that's considered as infringement all from the door, and you're not allowed to do that because
Right.
that amendment actually says it shall not be infringed.
Okay.
What part of that don't y'all understand?
But what they try to do is they try to litigate the limitations of it, right? Or they try to litigate where it's not effective. And so what they try to do, and this is the stuff that maybe you hear a lot more about, is they try to find the workarounds, the
Red
amendment
flag laws,
red flag laws,
which
you
are
have
unconstitutional.
you have the assault rifles banned, right?
Right.
Which
Technically speaking,
is not a legal thing because you got to define what an assault rifle is, because I can't buy one at a store.
No, nobody can buy one.
You can't buy an assault rifle
because it's not an actual
because it
thing.
doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
There's no such
Do you
thing.
know what a
They
rifle-
think AR means assault rifle, and
No, it
it
doesn't
means
mean Armalite.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
So they're dumb. That's the problem.
Here's the funny thing when it comes to this whole thing with gun, because I know that was also in your questions was about guns and gun laws and stuff like that. Here's the funny thing with all that. Number one, assault rifle, like you said, not a real thing.
What's an assault weapon? If I beat you with this wrench, it's an assault weapon.
Yes, that's exactly what
Are
it
you
is.
going to now take this wrench away from me?
If I take my BB
Take
gun
away all
rifle,
knives.
if I take a BB rifle and I assault you with it, that BB rifle is an assault rifle.
Yes. That's correct.
Now you understand the stupidity of the if you go to the military, because I love this, they're like assault rifles are military weapons. If you go to any military person and ask them, hey, where are your assault rifles? They will hit you.
Ready?
Because it's not a thing.
I'm going to tell you how dumb this is. Ready? To a person who knows very well the
stupidity?
No. This is very much for you. Okay? You understand this weapon very well. You've used it before. Paintball gun.
Yes.
You know what also is exactly the same size as a paintball? Marbles. Do you know what happens to a paintball gun when you load it with marbles?
No.
It hurts a lot.
It actually can kill you.
It can
actually
kill
You can
a
still
human
fire
being.
it?
Yes.
Oh, well, don't do that. We do not condone.
So
nor
no,
express written consent.
So to be clear,
to do that.
right? No,
whatsoever.
it's not a good idea. But to be clear, and it's been done before. It's not news. People have done it all the time. But the point is, or freeze the paintballs.
That gets wonky because they don't ever they don't freeze
They
correctly.
don't freeze
and
in
they can jam
circles,
up.
right? But
They
the
don't,
point is,
they don't freeze in a perfect circle.
but the point
or a
is
sphere.
that like you can do that to a very simple thing that you could go to your sporting goods store, buy, go to your hobby store, buy, and hurt somebody very badly.
You realize that if you take the regulator
And how fast do paintballs come out of that gun?
Very fast.
So fast.
And how many? Oh wait,
And you
wait,
can-
hold on. Let me ask you a
round
question.
minute?
Does it go bang and you pull the trigger once and then it just you just hold it and it just keeps going, right?
Most are not allowed to be.
Hold on.
Not allowed to be
No.
full automatic
A
now.
paintball gun.
Yes,
No.
absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Paintball guns. You can buy fully automatic paintball
I'm
guns.
telling you right now, they're harder to find than you can think because a lot of
But
places.
you can buy
still
fully
buy them
automatic paintball guns. You do not need to go and modify
Well, you know what
it
the funny
with
thing
a
is?
special thing on it or get a bump stock in order to make it fire
they're
like
legal
an
again
automatic.
now.
I'm
They're legal
listening
now.
But listen to my point. The point is that this is my point.
And plus, you ever watch
There's
those guys?
no-
They're
there's-
throwing triggers like this anyway.
There's
and
no
shooting
way.
fast.
There's no way, right, that you could turn around and stop. And this is probably one of the basest arguments you will ever hear come from this guy. If somebody wants to hurt you,
Can't stop them.
you will not stop them.
Doesn't matter what.
Everything in their vicinity is now an assault weapon. That stone, a brick, that
knife, a
computer,
fork.
everything. I argued this with a coworker one time because he was against the Second Amendment and he thought we needed to take guns away. And I said, you know what? I said, here's the problem with that. I said, you take guns away today, guess what's going to happen tomorrow?
Bombs.
Mass stabbings.
And bombs.
he laughed at me in my face.
Then it happened in England.
In Italy. In France. No, it was in
right?
France or in Italy. The next day, on a train, a guy pulled out a knife and stabbed 45 people,
Yep.
killed 20.
Oh.
So where was the gun? What? I'm sorry. Mass stabbings.
Rebel
Oh no, that
knives.
won't happen. Do you know what's actually deadlier than a gun? A knife.
Yeah.
Do you know why? You know how many people survive gunshots?
A lot.
A lot. Do you know how many people survive knives?
Not many.
Not
Barely
many.
any.
Because usually,
Barely any. If you get stabbed with a knife, you're probably going to die. There's about maybe a 5% chance you will live if they don't hit a vital area.
Yeah. That's
If they hit you in an arterial or vital area, you will die.
Yep.
Key point, right? Ice skating, most recent. I think it was this last year.
Yep.
Did you see the guy?
You got skated over.
Got a
Oh,
small little
man.
got cut on his leg. I think it was his leg or his
neck.
No, it wasn't his neck.
It was neck.
Near
It was near his neck.
It was.
But
up
he
here.
started
up here,
bleeding.
collarbone
He
area.
started bleeding. He skated off the ice and died before the ambulance showed up.
And that was by accident.
So this is the point. And again, why? Like, go back to the old school, Civil War days, right? I mean, still to this day, military does have them. It's a bad day when they have to use them. But Mr. Bayonet, it's a pointy thing made out of steel, carbon steel, that's shaped like a triangle. Do you know why?
No.
Because when they stab you with it, you will
twist.
not be able to stitch it back up. Because a triangle-shaped wound cannot be restitched.
And they twist.
So
it.
you will bleed out.
Yeah. No. This is a
Bullets, you know how fast a bullet goes through you? Instantly. Pew, out one side the other. You know how accurate bullets are?
Not very,
Not very accurate. Right?
Depending on who's using them.
And the more distance further away they are, right? The smaller the velocity gets, the smaller the hole goes. So
Depends on the rifle.
Right, it depends on the weapon. Now, if you're using a 50 cal BMG and you shoot that thing at like 30 feet away from somebody, they're missing half of their body. So okay,
Well,
I'm sorry, they're gone. That's not going to come back from that, but that's different.
As my uncle, they're never retired as a
Marine.
As a
So
a
he's not
vacationed Marine.
He's not. So he doesn't serve one of the two branches of our military.
No.
He's in the cult.
He's in the cult. Yes. He served.
We don't have 4 branches of military. We have 2 branches of military, a business, and a cult.
Yep.
And again, any military person that you talk to them about this, they will all agree.
Yes. But anyway, as a Marine, I said this jokingly. I was talking about somebody that I wanted was pissing me off at the time. It's somebody who does not deserve, in my opinion, does not deserve to really continue to breathe air. And I said something to my uncle because it referred to one of my kids, and my uncle goes, "I can make his head explode from a mile away."
That's not untrue.
Huh?
That's not untrue.
And
He doesn't even actually use a firearm. He just uses his mind bullets.
No, you're right, because it's the cult.
Telekinesis, Kyle.
That's telekinesis, Kyle.
Because of the cult.
Power to move you.
But I mean, it doesn't even have, yes. And like he going to allude to, when you stab somebody, you shove it in. You don't have to take it out right away. You can wiggle that bad boy around.
But generally,
you can grind some things up. You can blend some things up while you're doing it.
And honestly, it
comes back out the same direction. A bullet will go through you.
And here's the thing: if a bullet doesn't even go through you, right? And this is the best point, right? If a knife, generally a blade that you're stabbed with, is probably about that
wide or
that about maybe about, could be anywhere from, a pocket knife about that big to, a butcher knife or something, bigger, right? Well,
that's not a knife.
When it goes in, even though it's flat, it goes in all the way through, and when you pull that out, that wound is pretty sizable.
Huge.
Right? And if it's moved down or up or whatever,
and who says they're going to pull it out the same exact way they put it in?
And so at that point, you have that come out. It's very hard for you to do the treatment with put pressure on the wound to keep blood from coming out. That's how you survive, right?
Yeah.
A bullet, you get shot with anything between, I would say,
22 to
38. Once you get over 38, you could
45.
probably start, 45 and up, you might start having a bigger size wound, especially at different ranges. But you could put your finger in your hole.
Yeah.
And stop it.
Right? I mean, I hate the movie was a terrible movie, but Me, Myself, and Irene.
Oh,
There's a scene where he gets shot and he's like complaining about it, and then the military mental version of himself comes in and just tells him to suck it up, and he sticks the finger in the wound. You know what I mean? Like, you stick your finger in your wound, you plug the hole.
That's why they shove it with
You're
when
not going to
you're on
bleed
your way to the
out.
hospital.
You can now make it to the hospital. You can have the procedure done necessary. With a knife wound, nope. So there was a show. Got a guy that we both like, but it was probably one of the best times I've ever somebody explained why knives are so
Are you
bad.
talking about Forged and Steel?
Nope. The show was called The Rookie, starring Nathan Fillion. And he gets into a fight with.
I don't know if I've only been through the first.
It's really
two
good.
seasons,
It was
so I
really
haven't
good up
seen
until a
any.
certain point. But he gets into he's fighting a guy in a room or whatever, and they get into a quarrel, whatever. His gun gets knocked away from him, whatever. He gets back up and he's disarmed. He doesn't have his firearm, and the guy pulls out this giant knife, and he turns around and he just wraps up his this piece of cloth or whatever around his arm and wraps it so it's completely covering his main artery, right? And they talked about it in like a little thing in the afterwards or whatever, and they said, police are taught that. They're taught to protect their vital their wrist, because you need to disarm that person as fast as possible.
Yep.
And the guy holds the knife out and he's got it handle up, blade up like this, and he's just like, all right, so we're gonna do this. He's like, yeah. He's like, you ready for this? And he's like, depends. You holding the knife right or not? And then he goes like this. He looks at the knife and he goes, switches it and flips it face down. And he's like, crap. So he was hoping that he'd keep it that way, because at this point he has a way to push the knife away and get it away from him, blade away.
Yeah.
When you put it down,
there's no way to.
It's not coming out.
You can
it's
actually
much
hide
harder.
it in the arm.
Yep. It's much harder for you to now push that knife away, because the first thing coming at you, is the point. This way, it's always going to be the width of the blade. It's a
Yeah,
slicing
and then-
versus a stab.
Yeah.
And once he switched hands, it became very deadly. So, yeah, of course, he survived because he's Nathan Fillion. But anyway,
And Nathan Fillion is awesome.
he wasn't Wash. So,
He wasn't trying
I can
to.
actually maybe sneak in this last question.
All right, we're at hour and 10, just so you know.
Yeah. So, but this, you might be able to, if you can't answer it now, we'll have to save it for another time. But the draft, my son's mother is talking about the draft and how it may affect him. And
I will tell you this. All right, the simplest answer to this question is two points. Point number one, we would have to be involved in a massive war in order for a draft to even be constitutionally thought of.
Yep.
Okay.
One, okay? Two, we would have to be depleted militarily. We are not depleted militarily as far as, like,
Bodies.
bodies. We are
We are
depleted
in skill
militarily.
because we got the LGBTQ.
I'm not
rainbow
even going to get
mafia
into
now.
that, but I would say we're depleted in another way, though. We're depleted a little bit more in munitions. We're depleted a little bit more
Yeah, because we
in.
gave it all to the Ukraine.
But pause. Let me finish. We're depleted a little bit in munitions. We're depleted a little bit in funding. Okay, definitely in innovation as well, which would be the funding part.
right.
But if we were at any point probably close to or near an engagement for war, there's something that this country just excels in. And if you really want to watch something, it's a really interesting video. I don't remember where I saw it, but it was a video that showed the national, like,
Military power.
no, not military, but it had to do with basically the funding. So it was like the GDP for
Okay.
each country prior to war, right? And especially at World War II, there's this point where you see like Japan and their GDP coming up, and you see China's GDP, and the U.S. is kind of just like chilling at like
We were in a
fourth
depression
or
at the time.
fifth. We were in a depression, mind you.
Right,
Okay,
yeah.
so we're like down.
We're
Right?
hurting bad.
And all these other countries are just sitting there like coming up, and of course Germany starts coming up, and then all of a sudden now the U.S. is involved, and it goes, and we are literally double Germany
In
in
funding,
like
money.
in literally like 3 to 5 years. So the point is, and I say this to say, I'm not so certain, but I don't recall. I don't think we needed a draft for World War II. I think it
Yes,
was.
we did.
Was it in World War II? We
Yep.
had the draft in World War II. I thought it was
World War II,
War
we had a draft. Vietnam, we had a draft. Korean War, I believe we had a draft.
So the reality of it is it there? Yes. Would it be necessary? It would have to be a major war to be
all
necessary.
right, number one, you ain't got to worry about your son.
Why is that?
Is he the only child to your ex?
Yeah.
Then you
automatically
can't.
out.
He's not allowed.
So he's the only one with my ex. So
Yeah.
Yeah. The only living
He's out.
offspring. Not allowed.
It's her only child. He's out.
Okay.
Not also withstanding his other proclivities, the other things that he deals with in life, but just on that sole purpose alone.
I will also tell you another limiting factor, which is sad, but a good portion of American citizens would be ineligible
because of their overweight.
because they're overweight.
Overweight. Right now, the other thing.
Yeah.
That's right.
Now, mind you, they will adjust this. They will adjust this
They'll put you in
for
boot camp
sure.
longer. They'll put you in boot camp longer.
You have a longer boot camp, and you will be brought down to weight. But there are people that literally will have no chance.
Yeah.
That are just too far overweight.
Here's the other thing. Number one, right now, I believe it fully went through. I got to double check. But now women are part of the draft.
You asked
So
for it. You got
wanted
it.
the rights, you got it all.
You got it.
All right. The second
We didn't
thing,
ask for that. Just so we're all clear, that was not asked by any single guy. No, I'm 100% serious on this. No male
wanted this.
wanted
No.
women to be eligible for
Women
the
really didn't want
draft.
it either, but because they kept coming up and saying all these other things, they went, fine. You're trying to say that you can do everything a man can do? You can do the draft. Pow. And The other thing right now,
Just can't
they
do pull-ups and push-ups.
Right now, they are doing. There was a budget bill for the draft that got thrown out currently, and the reason why it got thrown out, and if I remember correctly, I heard it today. Chuck Schumer and all his cronies threw it out because they said it didn't allot any money to the military for any
Ukraine?
No, gender surgeries for people that got drafted and they wanted to be.
What general use is your penis or vagina going to do when you fighting another person? You're not going overseas to have sex with people. You're going over there to kill them.
He called me a she.
I was like, look, actually, you know what? Screw that. I'm on board. Assign them all different pronouns and send them over a country so they don't say their pronouns and watch them rage quit. Yeah, I want that. Actually, get more of them. Get them all. I want every single they, them, whatever, they, them, whatever. All of them. Bring the furry squad. Put them all in military gear. Send them over to China where they go, why you look like that? You a dude. And they just rip heads off. And you need guns.
That's not even going to be what happens. Just send them over there in their rainbow camouflage. They'll be able to hide really well from them bullets. I tell you.
There was a really funny
Put them over there with that rainbow camouflage, man.
Hey, you know what, though? There's another positive side, but I really don't know if I should say this one.
What? Let them be the cannon fodder and then they're not here anymore?
No, we don't have to worry about taking care of them when they come back because they won't come back. They'll kill themselves.
I'm okay with that. Anyway.
Sadly, unfortunately, they're very high suicide count.
All right, guys. Hopefully we can get this back up on the YouTube. I'll try to physically put it back up there. But we really don't give a rat's behind about YouTube. It's really to all y'all people on Rumble. We love you. We thank you for everything you're doing. It seems like every week we're getting one new follower, and that may not seem like a lot, but when we started out this season at, I think, 9 followers on Rumble, and now we're almost at double, that is fantastic. It may be starting out as a trickle, it may be starting out as one drop at a time, but eventually that will fill the bucket and that will make things overflow eventually. And we're not against doing the work to do so. So we thank you. I need everybody out there. I need you to hit them likes, them shares, the follow buttons, especially on Rumble.
And all that jazz.
All the stars. Go into the link tree in bio. If you have any questions, you can email us. And for all y'all people that are still trying to get me to follow you for marketing or whatever, follow the link tree in bio.
Give me 1 month for free. Then maybe I'll think about it.
Yeah, right. Because how can you guarantee that we will quadruple followers with you?
Give me a sample.
Right.
I want to try.
Quadruple 4 followers.
Just give me the little toothpick sample in the little plastic cup. I want that.
Also, if you have any questions, email us. If you have any prayer requests, email us. For this guy right here, if you want to listen to his previous sermons that he has preached, especially this year, have been on fire. I'm telling you right now,
he's on fire.
As a Christian, there are a lot of people who, after listening to his things, will find out that they were never really a Christian to begin with.
Boom shakalaka.
So, if you want to listen to his previous sermons, you go into the link tree and you follow the stream's website, and you can listen to them. Also, if you happen to be in South Jersey around 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning, you can get the address from that said website, and you can come visit and worship with us, and we would be glad to have you worship with us. Retarded.
I'm just waiting for the moment. And if you don't know what I'm quoting, shame on you.
We would be happy to worship with you. We would welcome you in open arms, unless you're coming in to act a fool, and then we will show you your place.
Well, it depends on what kind of fool they're acting. If they're acting like I am right now, I'll.
No, I'm talking about the kind.
As long as you're not disrupting.
The kind of fool that gets mad because we don't have a bathroom for him.
I have a guy's bathroom. I have a girl's bathroom.
Yeah, you go where you're assigned.
If neither of those work for you, I have a tree outside.
Right? But anyway, our next episode will be in 2 weeks. That'll be July 1st, probably, roughly.
I can tell you for sure.
It's the 18th. 2 weeks from now would be 32.
Yeah,
there's
be the,
June 2nd.
It'll be the
Okay,
second.
so that'll be 10 days before we actually find out all the things that are going to happen with Trump. So we won't necessarily be talking about that, but probably at the end of the second episode in July, we will end up bringing that up just because it will be a big current event and needs to be dissected. For the next episode, I don't know. As of late, me and him have been on a similar wavelength when it comes to things, which is, if y'all knew me, that's scary.
Yeah. Super scary.
But who knows what we come up with. All I know is that we are going to continue to hit it that the church needs to grow a pair between their legs and actually start being the kingdom of heaven. So thank you for joining us at the corner of church and state where there is no separation. I pray y'all have a good one, a blessed one, and peace.
God bless.
I just seem to see the world different. It ain't Republicans or labor rules, it's mental illness. The internet is only interested in left opinions. Cancel culture's got more power lately than the First Amendment. If you don't like it, leave. We will not defund police. We don't want no riots in our neighborhoods or in the streets. We respect freedom of speech. We protect what we believe. We don't want nobody dead, so please do not tread on me. In America, if freedom ain't free. In America, got soldiers dying overseas. So America,